Hey there, Heather, ho there, it's Jeff Cutter Diamond welcoming you to a very special video, and it's card unwrapping. A lot of people said all these things about, people making YouTube videos about unboxing hockey card sets and all that. Well, I stepped it up. Well, I kind of did it the least populous way. So, I went to my local dollar store and got some hockey card packs. I had to go there to get Christmas bags and Christmas stuff, but not Christmas presents because I did that already. So anyway, I picked up 12 things of 15 hockey cards. So as you can see, as you will see, got these things. So if you're Canadian, I don't know if it's all in Canada, but if you're in Canada, if you go to Dollarama and get these, you get 15 cards for $1. Now a lot of people said, wait a minute, Tim Hortons has hockey cards. They have 3 hockey cards for $1. Like that's 33 cents a card. Whereas with this, it's 15. It's 15 cards for $1. That's about 6 cents a card. I know there's some shit cards and all that, but like I don't care. All right, so I'm gonna do the first one. All right, so first is at the front is Joffrey Lupo. Fight Lupus, not Lupo. So this is his card in 2012. Oh, this is a rookie card. No, that can't be a rookie card. This is rookie anthology. That's not right. Why would it say rookie anthology? If Joffrey Lupo's not a rookie. Card number 2 is Drake Kagugla. Kagugla. A lot of people think this is the guy who was the first Punjab player in NHL history, but no, that's not him. Kagugla. People are going to be hating on me forever. Anyway, next is, okay, Bill Lindsay of the Panthers. So Bill Lindsay, decent player for the team. He was part of the expansion draft for Florida, got until he picked up from Quebec. What? They gave me 2 Bill Lindsays in one deck? Fuck. A weird card. Pacific did these cards with the little guy in the circle. That's Dennis Pedersen, by the way. Okay, so that's kind of a dumb card. Yorke Lume, 1991. So he was a decent Canuck. I think that was the year. I think the Habs got him, didn't he? Yeah. He was traded from the Habs, but that was March 1990. Okay, so this is Glenn Wesley from the Hartford Whalers. He was a Boston lifer for a while, and then he went to Hartford. Yeah, he got traded from Boston to Hartford. And then Glenn Wesley basically was a good player for the Carolina Hurricanes for many years. Chris Tanev of the Canucks. This was his 2019, 18-19 card. Chris Tanev, so good player. From the Central Red Army team. Oh, this is just to talk about the 1991 Super Series. So members of the 91 team that played in the Super Series. They did do a little bit of a Super Series against some NHL teams. There were 7 of them. Andrei Kovalenko was on that team. Evgeny Davidov, Sergei Nachinov, Yuri Havlev, Vladimir Konstantinov, Valery Kamensky, Slava Butsayev, Igor Kravchuk, Vladimir Malikov, Boris Mironov, Sergei Subov, Igor Chira. Okay. Next is the Senators' Norm McIver, part of the inaugural Senators campaign. And they're bringing back those jerseys for the Senators. Guess gotta go with something. Norm McIver from Nova Scotia. Next is Ron Verbata when he was playing for the Coyotes 2008. So Verbata was a decent Coyote. Ed Belfour artifact. Why do they call it artifacts? Ed Belfour in a Panthers outfit. Basically, the Leafs were tired of Belfour sucking, and then they mortgaged their future on Andrew Raycroft. That was the year that they mortgaged their future on Andrew Raycroft by trading Tuukka Rask away to Boston. Glenn Anderson, Leafy. Glenn Anderson. He was very good for the Leafs and all that. This was his 93 card. Glenn Anderson was pretty good for the Leafs. Game 5 overtime goal against the Kings in the conference final, but that was the last time the Leafs won in that conference final. Don Maloney as a New York Islander. Ranger fans will not be happy about that. And, of course, Dennis Savard. Chicago Blackhawks. This was the 1990. This was his last card before he became a Montreal Canadian. And Montreal traded for him too late. People forget that Dennis Savard should have been drafted first overall by the 1980 Habitants. But unfortunately, they basically decided to use Doug Wickenheiser. He was a decent player, but not for Montreal. And the funny thing is, Winnipeg could have picked up Dennis Savard, but they went with Morris Lukowich. And Chicago picked up Dennis Savard, and he helped the Blackhawks do well. Now, a lot of people say 1980. How could the Habs have been the worst team in the NHL? They weren't the worst team in the NHL. Colorado made a trade in 1978, sending their first-round pick in 1980 to Montreal for a couple of stiffs. Unfortunately for Colorado, they were the worst team in the NHL, despite Dodd Sharp being coach. Okay, so pack number 2. First off is Mackenzie McEachran from Michigan. I don't know if he's related to Sean McEachran, but he was born in Michigan. This is his rookie card, 2019. Mackenzie McEachran. That's a strange guy. Luke Adam. I don't have this guy. 2012. They said he was a Quebec League star. I think for like one of the Atlantic teams in the Quebec League. But anyway, yeah, Luke Adam. I don't know. He just fell off the earth fast for Buffalo. Paul Fenton of the Hartford Whalers. He was actually traded not once, but twice in that year. He signed as a free agent for the 91-92 season. Of course, this was post 90-91. Score 91 was basically the first hockey card set I had, or Bowman 91 as well. But Paul Fenton, yeah, he was a Jet, then he was a Leaf, then he was a Flame. So, weird year. Victor Kozlov with the Sharks. So, yeah, he's a Florida legend, but, he started his career with the Sharks in the 1995 season. Craig Smith of the Nashville Predators. Very decent player, 21 goals in the 2019 season. This card has. Craig Smith is famous for botching an open net goal years ago against the Leafs. Gordon Murphy of the Flyers. Decent defenseman. Gordon Murphy, this was his 91 card. European star Per Gustafsson of the Swedish team. I don't think Gustafsson played in the NHL. Todd White of the Senators. This was in 2002-03 when he scored 25 goals. He was a pretty decent player. He's from Canada. Hometown boy, because the Senators play. The arena is in Canada. It's a part of Ottawa, by the way. Sean Burke of the Coyotes. Sean Burke was fantastic. He was 6'4". He was a very smart goalie and all that. He played for the 88 Canadian Olympic team. No, wait, 92. And 92, I think. But anyway, yeah, Coyote. He went to the Coyotes in the twilight of his career and did very well. Brett Lindros with the Islanders. Brett Lindros. So apparently the Islanders made a trade with Quebec to jump up to get Brett Lindros, and it backfired on them. Didn't know that. Larry Robinson, his 1990 Bowman, his first year away from the Canadiens. People probably thought he should have retired instead of playing for another team. John Morris of the Devils, this was his 1990 Bowman. Brian Bellows, this was his 92 Minnesota. I know it says Montreal Canadiens on the bottom, but I haven't. But he was at Minnesota North Star until they traded him to Montreal. Who did Montreal send back? McPhee. I think it was McPhee they sent back. Yeah, but yeah, Brian Bellows was traded away to Montreal. And Brian Bellows, former Kitchener Ranger, if I may say so myself, helped the 93 Habs win the Stanley Cup. Stephane Vissé with the Nordiques. This was 92 when he was just a fresh-faced rookie and all that. Vissé would then go on to win a cup with the Avalanche in 95-96 before being traded away to LA. And there's my man, Cujo, when he was a St. Louis Blue. Very good goalie for St. Louis. He basically was the main reason why the Blues did so well in the 93 playoffs and nearly got to the conference finals at the expense of the Leafs. All right, so it's 2 down. Okay, so at pace, my pace would be at 75 minutes, so that's not a bad pace. All right, so yeah, Cujo. I always enjoyed Cujo and all that. How the Leafs, and the funny thing is, Cujo was actually picked up because Ken Dryden, who was the president and de facto GM of the of the Leafs, basically was walking to an ice cream store with his son when all of a sudden Don Meehan, the agent for Cujo, came in and said that Cujo was a free agent, and that's when Ken Dryden decided to plunk him for the Leafs, even though Felix Potvin was still around. All right, so we got 50 more cards. First up is Sam Gagner of the Oilers. He was fantastic. Yeah, this was the year 2000. This is a 2012 card of him. Panini 2012 of him. And that's when he scored 8 points in one game to tie the Oilers record. Next up is Tom Wilson of the Capitals. He was a decent player and all that. Kind of a goon, if you ask me. 800 lifetime penalty minutes as of 2018. 104 points. But yeah, he was basically a goon. Here's another Sean Burke with the Whalers in 1995. Now, how Burke came to the Whalers was one thing. Basically, he wanted to play for the Canadian Olympic team in 1992. However, the NHL didn't have clearance to send their players to play in the Olympics. So Burke held out and decided to. No, I think Burke was holding out for money, and then he went to play for the Canadian Olympic team in 92. And nearly got a gold medal. We got silver. Next is Kerry Wilson, first New York Ranger. Nice. Kerry Wilson traded from the Whalers to the Rangers, I guess, for the start. Oh, no, December 1988, but this is a 1989 OPG. Kerry Wilson wasn't really much for the Rangers. Bobby Probert of the Chicago Blackhawks. My buddy Bill will have that one. I don't know if he has a Bob Probert card. I'll probably give him this one. Bob Probert. And this was his first year in 95 with the Blackhawks. I think, as you can see on the edge, it says did not play. I think this was a year that he couldn't play because of some drug suspension or something like that. I don't know. I'll give that one to Bill. Next is another John Morris of Bowman. Fuck. And Larry Robinson. I could kind of guess. I was going to get that one too. Randy Burridge of the Washington Capitals. He wasn't much of a player, I think. Burridge was okay in a sense, but next is Dan Cleary. This is his 2009 Upper Deck. Dan Cleary from Newfoundland. Pretty decent player. This was the year Detroit lost in the final to Pittsburgh, but Dan Cleary was a decent player and all that from the island. Oh, great to the game. Butch Goring. Fleer 2001 did this. Butch Goring. Oh yeah, Butch Goring was a legend. He was an LA Kings legend for a while, and then this was when the trade deadline day was basically one of the biggest days ever, because on what they called trade deadline day in 1980, Butch Goring was traded from the Kings to the Islanders. The Islanders needed some more grit at center. They traded away future NHL coach Dave Lewis to LA to get him. And yeah, I didn't know he played for Boston. But yeah, Butch Goring with his bubble helmet and all that. It was iconic that way. Calgary. Corey Stillman. This was his rookie card from 1995 in the shortened season of 95. But Corey Stillman, better as a Lightning. Another one. Reggie Lemelin. Now, there are a lot of cards that say Reggie Lemelin, not Rajon Lemelin, but we know Rajon is his real name, but that's Reggie Lemelin. Prospect card, Pat Jablonski with the Blues. I don't think he panned out. And basically, with Cujo and there's another Guy Hebert in the St. Louis crease, Jablonski was expandable. And so, next is Bill Holder of the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. Bill Holder, decent defenseman and all that. He was plunked. This was the expansion card. Like Buffalo, he got picked up from Buffalo. And finally, Sami Vatanen, 2019 card of the Devils. He was good for the Ducks, but, you know, they traded him to the Devils. All right, so that's 3 down. 9 to go. Why am I taking 15 times 5? I bought 12 packs, so that's 1 hour. Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to go in my head, and I got other things I got to do today, so. All right, so another thing of 15. First of all is Evgeny Davidoff. Very good player for the Panthers. I think this guy is a star. I think he still plays for the Panthers. This is his 18-19 card. But Davidoff is a pretty good player. Andre Sekera, this was his OPG from 2014 when he was with the Canes after coming from the Hurricanes. I mean, Canes coming from the Sabres. Walt Pundaby of the New Jersey Devils. This was his 91 scorecard. He was an old veteran. He was a former Leaf. I would have said he wore number 99, but no. Pundaby didn't wear number 99. He wore 9. Brendan Shanahan, the Leafs head of affairs. Well, he's a St. Louis Blue in this card set. 91. The Devil. Well, 91 he played for the Devils, and then he was traded this. It was given to St. Louis because the Devils had it was the compensation for, oh no, sorry. Because Shanahan was a free agent and signed with St. Louis. St. Louis had to give someone back to New Jersey as compensation. That was Scott Stevens. So yeah, so this was why Scott Stevens went to the Devils. People forget Scott Stevens was a St. Louis Blue for 1 year. Yeah, Brendan Shanahan, one of the best. And Steve Smith of the Oilers. This was his 1990 card. Steve Smith basically famous for that 1986 own goal against the Flames in the, not the conference finals, but in the conference semifinals against the Flames. And Perry Barrison was the guy who got credit for the goal. The home fans booed him relentlessly, despite the fact Gretzky gave Steve Smith the cup first when the Oilers won the 87 Cup. Smith went to Chicago and all that. Danny Sprong of the Anaheim Ducks. He was with Pittsburgh for a while, and then he got traded to Anaheim. Danny Sprong from Holland, from Amsterdam. Marty McInnes, his rookie card with the 92 Islanders. He would be much more likable as a Duck than an Islander. Played for the U.S. Olympic team in 92. Crown Royale. Why would they have a card that basically juts to the side? But yeah, 2003 Rico Fata. He got traded from the Rangers to the Penguins. Rico Fata was a bust. Was he? No, wasn't he? I think Fata was drafted by Calgary in 99 or something like that. And then got traded to the Rangers. And then he got traded to Pittsburgh. So yeah. Here's a Ranger. What? Boom Boom Jeffrey on it. 2005, the card company In the Game did like cards of legends. And Boom Boom Jeffrey on. Wow. Beautiful. He played 157 games for the Rangers. People forget that he played for the Rangers. When did he become a Ranger? It wasn't the Jacques Plante deal, 62. I think it was like 65. No, sorry. On the back of the card, it says Jeffron came back from a brief retirement and joined the Rangers for the 66-67 campaign and actually played some years for the Rangers. Yeah, he only had 800 points in his NHL career. So yeah, Boom Boom Jeffron. Very amazing. Got that card. Rod Langway, captain card with the Washington Capitals. I know, Capitaine, I know that it'll be in French and all that, but like Rod Langway was one of the best American defensemen ever. I know he was born in Taiwan, but basically he was American citizenship. Langway was like a star for the U.S. international teams and all that. Washington is retired as number 5. He'll always be a Washington legend. He was actually a Montreal Canadian for a few years, and then he got traded in 82 in the Rick Green deal, I think. Anyway, Phil Fleury, 1990 Bowman, when he scored 66 points. He was good and all that. Bob Erie. Yeah, they gave me a couple of Bowmans. Bob Erie, 1990 team card. Pele Eklund of the Flyers, war number 9. They seem war number 9. You got to have expectations. He wasn't much of a scorer. He was more of a passer in a sense. But yeah, he was okay. Anthony Duclair of the Chicago, when he was with Chicago. You know, the Rangers had him for a little bit, and then they decided, nah, it's not worth Duclair's time. So we were going to trade him to the Coyotes. And then he put up a 20-goal season, and then Arizona traded him to Chicago in 2018. I was going to say, I think he won a Stanley Cup with the Blackhawks, but that's false because the Blackhawks won 3 Stanley Cups in the 2010s, 10, 13, and 15. But Anthony Duclair is a free agent, I think, still. Someone better pick him up. And finally, Adam Lowry of the Winnipeg Jets. You know, he was a decent player. So that's that. Next one. All right, so here we go. 15 more cards. Here we go. First one is Thomas Vokoun. The Goon from when he was with the Penguins. People forget that he actually played a few games for the 97 Canadiens and then was exposed in the expansion draft for the Predators to take. And he was basically Nashville's #1 goalie for years. Then they got rid of him in 2008 to the Panthers. This was his Penguins card from 2013. Vokoun actually was a major role player. I think Marc-Andre Fleury got hurt, and basically he helped Pittsburgh get through the 2013 playoffs, but Boston stopped them in their tracks in the conference finals. Arturi Lehkonen of the Habitants. He's going to be a superstar for Montreal. I can feel it. Lehkonen. Alan Kerr of the Detroit Red Wings. Didn't play much in the 91 season and all that. And basically, you know, he was a physical player, and then Detroit picked him up. Alan Kerr. Scott Mellanby of the Oilers. People forget Scott Mellanby was an Oiler at one time. Mellanby, I think, was a star for the Flyers for many years, and then he got traded to the He got traded from the Flyers to the Oilers, I think, for the rights to Yari Curry, if memory serves me right. I think that was a major part. But Scott Mellanby was an Oiler, but of course everyone remembers him as a Florida Panther when he did that rat trick, if you will, and sent those plastic rats hurtling through the Florida home games. Dan Boyle of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Before the Rangers picked him up, and he was not really that well known, but Dan Boyle, great Tampa player. Oh, geez, I forgot. He was a Florida Panther for a few years. I thought Dan Boyle started his career with the Lightning, but no, I guess not. He started with the Panthers. Nice. This is a Pacific 2004, by the way. Zach Kassian of the Oilers. This was 2018-19. He did okay and all that. He was not that bad of a player. All that. Hey, here's another Ranger. One of the best checking forwards of all time. Jan Eriksson. I think he was a lifer with the Rangers organization. I don't remember. Sorry about that. This is Canon quick menu. That's my printer. Or something like that. But Jan Eriksson was basically an aggressive player. Here's another in the game card. Phil Meyer, when he was with the Flames. He was very good with the Flames and all that. Him and Dan Bouchard were the Atlanta tandem for many years in the 1970s. And no, the Atlanta Flames did not win a playoff series in their history, although they were consistently in the playoffs. I know 1980, before they moved to Calgary, they lost in the first round to the Rangers. 79, they lost to the Leafs, if memory serves me right, in the first round. And 74, they got swept by the Flyers at home, and Dave Schultz, of all people, scored the overtime winner. Yeah. Phil Meyer was one of those goalies in 71 that could have taken the reins for the Habs in the playoffs if it wasn't for Ken Dryden. Shane Doan, the lifer of the Coyotes. I don't think he played for another franchise other than the Jets/Coyotes. He was a Winnipeg Jet for that moment. Yeah, Shane Doan was a legend for Canada in World Hockey Championships and basically for the Coyotes. I think they retired his number 19. I don't remember if he did, but Shane Doan should have his number retired if it wasn't lucky. World Juniors 93, Sergei Klimovich. He was actually picked by the Blackhawks in the 93 NHL draft, but no, I don't think he went to Chicago. Here's your Bowman. Dave Christian, 1990. He did fantastic and all of that. He was traded from Washington in 1989 to Boston. I think this is the same. Oh, no. I was going to say this was the guy who really had a massive leg injury at the Montreal Forum in the 1991 season, but no, that wasn't him. That was Bobby Carpenter. My card just fell out of nowhere. Sorry about that. All right, so next is Denny Savard of Bowman. Yep. So that's a duplicate. Eric Brewer, Team Canada card. I guess for the World Juniors in 97. Eric Brewer, it was good. The Leafs should have had him when he was a superstar for the 2002 Canadian Olympic team, but we failed to get him. Kevin Bieksa of the Mighty Ducks. I know it says Ducks, but fuck that sentiment. He was a great Canucks defenseman, and then they let him go to Anaheim, and he was okay. And finally, Elias Lindholm of the Carolina Hurricanes. This was 2016 and all that. Lindholm. I think he's still in the NHL. I don't know. So anyway, there's that. Okay, next set. All right, so about half an hour. How many stacks do I have left? I have 1, 2, 3. So I'll be halfway through. Okay, I've got a good pace going. All right, so first is Alex Iafallo of the LA Kings, 2019. Iafallo from Eden, New York. Yeah, Italian name, Iafallo. Alf Dolan of the Minnesota North Stars. The Rangers traded him in March of 1990, I think for Mike Gardner, if memory serves me right. But Alf Dolan, he was a decent player for the North Stars in the 91 Cinderella run. The North Stars. There's a Scott Mellenby card with the player in the circle and all that. This was around the time that he had that rat trick and all that. I'm going to throw that away because I don't like that type of card. Scott Hannon of the San Jose Sharks. Oh, this is 1998 Upper Deck? I thought it was like 2001, but Scott Hannon. This was before he started his NHL career with the Sharks. He was a good defenseman. Doug Wilson, there's a Bowman from the Blackhawks. Known for not wearing a helmet at any point in his career and all that. And for being the first ever captain in San Jose history. I thought that was Kelly Kissel, but I think it's Doug Wilson. And here's another Bowman, Brian Propp of the North Stars. Oh, sorry, Boston, before he joined the North Stars. I think he only joined Boston for 1 year. And then he went to the North Stars in free agency. So yeah, Brian Propp. The Leafs should have had Brian Propp, but they decided to go for Laurie Boschman. I think we had another chance. It was Boschman or Propp. Both were great for Brandon. I mean, Boschman did play 1,000 games in the NHL, but still. Sergio Momesso of the Vancouver Canucks from Montreal. He basically was a goon. This was his card in 93 when he got 200 penalty minutes. So, yeah. Mask collection. Oh, this is a 2-in-1 mask collection. So basically, it's a double card of Osgood and Garth Snow. I don't like double cards. Individual, please. Here's one. Sean Morrison of the Bruins. So basically, first round pick in 2001 with the Bruins, but those weird Goldilocks outfits with the bear. Sean Morrison. Gary Roberts of the Calgary Flames. He's a very good player for the Flames. This was his card when he got 53 goals in 92. Very strong player and all that. I think this was also, yeah. And Gary Roberts had a severe neck problem that limited his time after 94. But he came back. He made one of the best player comebacks of all time. He played for Carolina, and then he started playing for the Leafs and the Canes again. Basically, his fitness was what helped him get in the league. This is kind of a weird thing. Power forward. So basically, they talk about what a power forward is. Put Chris Gratton's face on the front. No, thank you. Andrei Sekera of the Oilers. Oilers to the Stars. This is his 18-19 card. I think, oh, shoot. This is a double because I had Sakura. This card with the Canes and all that. So, yeah. Sakura was a decent player for the Stars in 2020, but Dallas lost the Stanley Cup final. Not too good. Kenny Jonsson of the Leafs. 94-95 card. He was a very good defenseman for the Leafs. Swedish legend. But here's the worst thing about Kenny Jonsson. He was basically sent from the Leafs to the Islanders. He was made captain of the Islanders. And alongside Kenny Jonsson, the Leafs sent a first-round pick to the Islanders. And guess what? It bit the Leafs in the butt. The Leafs sucked. They were terrible in 97. That pick was the 4th overall pick. And guess who the Islanders took with that pick? That's right. Luongo. So the Leafs could have had Roberto Luongo. Heck. Craig Ludwig of the Minnesota North Stars. Of course, this was the outfit they had for the North Stars. They changed from the N with a star to the Stars. There were rumors that there was a movement afoot because, why would they just call themselves Stars and all that? Ludwig is known for his shin pads, but basically he kept the same pair of shin pads every year and all that. So basically Ludwig shot pads, I think they are in the Hall of Fame or something like that. And this is Barrett Jackman of the Blues. Basically he was a shock winner of the 2003 Calder Trophy. But basically Barrett Jackman was a Blues legend for more than like 12 years and all that. And he was captain at one time. Right. Yeah, Barrett Jackman. Next is so halfway through, about 32 minutes. Yeah, I think I got a good pace going. All right, 15 more cards. First off is Andre Nastrazo of the Canes. Nastrazo. I don't really remember this guy. Nastrazo. Next is a Jim Campbell of the St. Louis Blues. I know a friend of mine by the name of James Campbell, but that's not him. Hobby Bulin with the Coyotes base. Wow, this was the Fleer Skybox 97 when the Jets moved to Phoenix to become the Coyotes. So yeah, Hobby Bulin was great for that 96 Jets team. If it wasn't for his goaltending heroics, the Jets would have been easily swept by the powerful Red Wings in 96. He got them to a Game 6, which they lost on home ice. That was the last game in Winnipeg for 15 years. But yeah, Hobby Bulin was basically a Phoenix legend, but then he decided to hold out. And basically, it affected the Coyotes. Dream Team 91, Score 91, Dream Team of Ray Bork. Dirk Graham of the Blackhawks. So I guess we're getting one more Bowman. Tony Granato when he was with the Kings. People forget that Tony Granato was a New York Ranger, and then he was traded during the All-Star weekend in 1990 for Thomas Sandstrom. I think wasn't Sandstrom supposed to play for the Campbell Conference, and then he got traded away to the Whales, and it was weird during All-Star weekend and all that. Oh, they gave me a third Bowman, Reggie Lemelin. Next is Marc-Andre Fleury with the 2006 Penguins, his second year in the NHL. Oh no, I think he was still a rookie. Yeah, this was kind of a quote-unquote rookie season for him. Now, to be a rookie in the NHL, you have to not be a rookie. He played 21 games for the 04 Penguins and sucked. He was the number 1 overall pick, by the way. But he didn't play in 25 games, so he was technically still a rookie in 2006, and he did crappy. But he picked up speed. I mean, Pittsburgh, in the next few years, picked up a lot of charisma and all that. Next is Derek Roy Kitchener. 2006, in his second NHL season, 46 points in 70 games. Well, that Derek Roy will always be a legend, especially for the 2003 Mem Cup champions. Mike Ferdinand of the Calgary Flames, Calgary legend. What's strange? I guess this is the year 93 What's strange is that Mike Vernon always had the cage style mask when he was with the Flames. I have a lot of hockey cards of him in a cage style, and then I guess in '93 he changed to the normal mask with the Flames painted on it and all that. So yeah, very overlooked. Yeah, won a couple of Stanley Cups, one in '89 with the Flames and one in '97 with the Red Wings. Craig Janney of the St. Louis Blues. He was a very decent player, especially for Boston. But you know, Janney with the Blues, he was okay. Ryan Strome, Ranger, 2019 Ranger card. When we picked him up from Edmonton, Strome picked up 18 goals in 60 games with the Rangers in 2019. You know, he was an Islander lifer, and then he went to the Oilers, and then the Oilers dropped him to us. Well, I'm doing this because Blue Shirt Underground. I am also a New York Ranger guy for Blue Shirt Underground Radio. So basically, yeah, I'm talking about them. Yeah, Strome was good from Mississauga. That's where my brother and his family are now in. Ally Frady, the Skull Mullet. This was '93. This was the year he shattered the record for fastest shot in a thing with 103 miles per hour at the '93 All-Star game. I think he played in the All-Star game that year. Yeah, because Washington really didn't have any good players other than that. So yeah, so the Leafs had him and then lost him. I think the Leafs picked him up again for a little bit, but he decided to retire. Herb Raglan. I've heard of this guy, Herb Raglan, for many years on broadcast, but Herb Raglan, 91 scorecard. I'm surprised I never had a Herb Raglan. I'm surprised I don't have players that were part of the 91 score team. Herb Raglan. Yeah, Herb Raglan. Okay. And Pekka Rinne of the Nashville Predators. So basically, you know, Pekka Rinne became the franchise goalie after Fukun left. So Pekka Rinne was really on his way and giving Finnish goalies prospects something good to talk about. Because Finland in the Big Six, you know, Canada, Russia, US, Finland, Sweden, and Finland. Finland didn't really have any star NHL goalies until like Mika Kiprasov came out of nowhere because I think their best Finnish goalie was Jarmo Malays, but nah, no, they really didn't have a star goalie. I know they had Ketterer, but yeah. Okay, so this will be the 8th pack. 15 cards. Here we go. First is Ryan Paling. I guess that's how you pronounce his name. 2019 MVP card. I'm surprised they give this guy an MVP card. He scored a hat trick in one game against the Toronto Maple Leafs when basically the season was over for the Habs and all that. So yeah, man, this I don't think he really did well. Here's a is this the same? Yes, this is the same. 2013 Penguins. Man, normally I get duplicates of Bowman's, but that was Tom Curvers. Speaking of dumb trades for the Toronto Maple Leafs, I think some force up there wants me to talk about bad Leaf trades. So anyway, he was a Leaf. Got traded to the Canucks in the '91 season, and then the Canucks got him to the Islanders. Unfortunately, Tom Curvers was basically known as a power play defenseman, and basically the Leafs needed a power play defenseman. So they decided to trade him to the Devils. Trade a first-round pick in 1991 to the Devils. Well, their '91 first-round pick to the Devils for Curvers. This was December '89, I think. Curvers was okay for the Leafs, but that first-round pick bit to the butt because the Leafs were the second worst team in the NHL that year. Yeah, and only the Nordiques in 1991. You know, Quebec got number one, got Eric Lindros, he refused to play for them. And then Pat Falloon was the number 2 pick for the Sharks. You're thinking, San Jose, how did they get number 2? Simple, they were an expansion team. They didn't want San Jose to have the number 1 pick, and I don't think they would have taken Eric Lindros. So then the Devils were next on the clock with the number 3 pick that the Leafs traded away, and they picked up Scotty Niedermayer. To this day, it hurts Leafs fans. And speaking of from the aisle to the other New York team, Tim Kerr with the Rangers. He was an power play scoring machine. He was claimed by the Sharks in the expansion draft, and then the Sharks traded him to the Rangers for Brian Mullen. I don't think the Rangers should have got rid of Brian Mullen. He was a New York native. Tim Kerr, I don't think did much for the Rangers. I think he was like injury prone for the Rangers. But yeah, Tim Kerr was a power play. He holds the record for most power play goals in 1 year. Oscar Lindblom of the Flyers. As people know about Lindblom, he ended up having, was it Hodgkin's lymphoma? Some kind of cancer and all that. And he came back and played for the Flyers in the 2020 playoffs after having his cancer diagnosis. So basically, he's a freaking icon. He's a beast. Next up is Marcus Sorensen of the Sharks, 2018-19 card. What position does he play? Like, they freaking don't tell me what position he played. Oh, left wing, sorry. So yeah, Marcus Sorensen from Södertälje, Sweden. I don't remember that guy. Anyway. Next is Scott Lachance. Talk about star rookies from the Islanders. Another 1992 U.S. Olympic guy, Scott Lachance, with, who was the other guy? Marty McGinnis. So yeah, the Islanders really had a lot of Olympians, I guess, on their roster. Alex Kovalev. I hate these Crown Royal cards. I want my cards to be square, not jutted. Kovalev played for the Rangers his first time around and helped them win the 94 Stanley Cup. Of course, he was a bit lazy and all that. This was 2003 when Pittsburgh traded him back to the Rangers. He played some years for the Rangers, and then he went to the Habs, and I think he went back to Pittsburgh after that. Okay. Flame. There's another Atlanta Flame, Guy Chouinard, who was very decent. I think he was great. He was a good player in the Quebec League. And, you know, he got 50 goals for the 79 Atlanta Flames. And people thought they were going to go far in the playoffs. But unfortunately, they have to deal with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Mario Lemieux, this was his 94 card and all that. When he got injury prone and all that. He only played 22 games that year. Wow. Oh, no, sorry. This is his 96 Topps card. Because in 94-95, he didn't play because of his back injuries. And I think it was just basically a statement that the NHL had too many obstruction penalties and all that. And he was basically targeted and all that. Kind of a whiner, if you ask me, but, you know. Next is, here comes the moment. Igor Larionov. Everyone knows he was a star for the Sharks and the Wings, but people forget he started his career with the Vancouver Canucks. He and Krutov, part of the KLM line, came to Vancouver. Larionov kind of blossomed in a sense. I think he got traded to San Jose. I don't think Sharks got him in the expansion draft. But anyway, no, I think Larionov was exempt because he was only in the league for 1 year or something like that. I don't know. There's Dennis Savard. Fuck, I got 3 Dennis Savard Bowmans. Pierre Turgeon of the Habitants, he was great. 24 goals in the shortened season of 95. He got traded. I think he got traded. Yeah, the Islanders traded him to Montreal for Malakoff, if memory serves me. Turgeon. Who went the other way from the Habs to the Islanders? Because Pierre Turgeon was a decent player and all that. And then, of course, he became captain. He was the captain of the team that when the Forum closed in 96. So, yeah, with the famous flame, the torch and all that. It was great. Chris Letang of the Pittsburgh Penguins, a little bit injury prone, if you ask me. 2019, he played 65 games. 2017, I think 2017 he got cancer or something like that. He got some kind of health scare in 2017, but basically he came back. He did very well. And Chris Letang's a star Penguins defender for all time. And finally, a rookie of Travis Dermott, 2018 Leafs. 37 games, 13 points. Dermott's a decent player for the Leafs. He's not a superstar, but he's decent. I'll say this much. Say Murphy. Oh yeah. Sacramento. Oh yeah. So here we go. Another 15 cards. First off is a Grant Fuhr card select. 2014. They made a superstar. Grant Fuhr was an icon. A trailblazer, the first black player to be in the NHL Hall of Fame, Hockey Hall of Fame. I think Joe McGinley will be. Yeah, Joe McGinley is number 2, but Grant Fuhr was an icon. And how he did in the Megastars game outdoors for the Oilers Habs in 2003, I'll never forget that moment. He's a legend. Next up is Shane Shurla of the North Stars, basically a goon, 260 penalty minutes. in that year. He was a feisty guy. Ron Wilson of the St. Louis Blues. I think that's the same Ron Wilson who was the who ended up being a coach, if memory serves me right. Yeah, Ron Wilson was actually player coach for Winnipeg's AHL team before they traded him to St. Louis. But yeah, yeah, I think that is the Ron Wilson. I know there are two Ron Wilsons, but who played in the NHL. But I think this is the Ron Wilson that became the Leafs coach and botched it behind the bench. Next is Paul Martin of the New Jersey Devils. If you're Canadian like me, you know Paul Martin was also the name of a Canadian Prime Minister after Chrétien. But this guy was born in Minnesota. So basically, Martin was a decent defenseman for the New Jersey Devils and all that until he got traded away, I think. Next is Braden Holtby of the Washington Capitals. So yeah, Braden Holtby, like the franchise of the Capitals. Now that they're gambling on this Ilya Samsonov guy. Holtby's now with the Canucks. He's from Alberta. I thought Braden Holtby was from British Columbia. It would have made sense. Yeah, so he'll be playing for the Canucks in 2021. That may help. Okay, next is another Pele Eklund. Oh, here we go. Dino Ciccarelli. They call a legend card with the Tampa Bay Lightning. Really? They could have put him on a North Stars. Maybe with the North Stars. Dino Ciccarelli. He only played 111 games for the Lightning in his career. He played 1,200 games, but like, freaking guy could have been a Red Wing or a North Star on this card. But a Tampa Bay Lightning, really? Yeah, Dino Ciccarelli. Kind of hate him because he's with the London Knights organization. Yeah. No, I think it's the Hunter brothers. But yeah, Dino Ciccarelli. Sergei Brulin with the Devils. This was basically before he came out of his shell and all that. He was basically a decent player, but he just couldn't put up points. And then they finally gave him more freedom and all that. That's what you get for playing for the Trap. Here's a Leaf. Gary Lehman. This was 91 when he scored 17 goals in 52 games, which was pathetic by his standards, especially after he scored 50 goals in a game. In the season, in the 1990 season. I think becoming the second Leaf behind Rick Five to do that. So yeah, 51 goals. Gary Lehman was involved in that 10-player trade that the Leafs made with Calgary to get Doug Gilmour and all that. Gary Lehman wouldn't stick around Calgary for long as he got traded to the Habs in the 92-93 offseason for Scroomland. And Lehman won the Stanley Cup for the 93 Habs. Really. Okay, here come the Bowmans. Mark Jansen of the New York Rangers really wasn't much of a player. And Dave Christian again. Doug Wilson with the Sharks. Okay, there's a Doug Wilson card with the Sharks. An icon to be sure. Yep, he was the first captain and the first player to be part of the All-Star game in history. It was weird seeing Doug Wilson in a uniform that wasn't the Chicago Blackhawks. So anyway, yeah. So I think he was the GM for a while with the Sharks. I think his son is now Doug Wilson Jr. And he's now in the Hall of Fame, I think. I'm just trying to figure something out here. Yeah, because in those days, I think in these days still too, that every team had to have at least one player on the All-Star roster from a certain team and all that. So, Pekka Rinne. This is a true card of Pekka Rinne. Mine was just like they had blurbs, but 2019 when he won 30 games for the Preds. 341 wins with the Preds. All with the Preds. Wow, that's freaking amazing and all that. 2011 and 2012, he just basically usurped the cocoon. Yeah. Pavel Saka, center for the Devils. I think he was okay and all that. And then you got Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, the Nuge, number 1 overall pick by the Edmonton Oilers in 2012. Really didn't have much expectations by R&H. I think they traded him, didn't they? I don't know if Nugent-Hopkins plays for the Oilers anymore, but yeah, the Oilers had in their terrible years they kept getting the number 1 overall pick. It was like, how the hell did they do it? Whose life did you have to suck to do that? All right. 2 more decks after this. First off, you got Valtteri Filipula, not with the Red Wings, but with the Flyers, aka the Islanders. So basically, the Islanders picked him up as a free agent, number 51. Filipula, yeah, he was a Red Wings legend, and then basically, he just flew under the radar in a sense. Brandon Sutter, one of the Sutter, well, not the main Sutters. Brandon Sutter with the Canucks, very decent player. He came up with Carolina and Pittsburgh, and then Vancouver picked him up, and he started showing some signs of greatness. I think he's Brent's kid. Ryan Donato of the Boston Bruins, I believe he's Ted Donato's son, but Ryan, this is rookie card from 2018, the Bruins. He's picked up some speed. Whoa, I just noticed. Ryan Donato's birth date is April 9th. I didn't know that. Ryan Donato's was born on April 9th. Nice. I know Brian Elliott was born on my birthday. And in 1985, too. Troy Murray with the Winnipeg Jets. Why did they make it a green card? Now, I know they traded him for the Blackhawks to the Jets. And he did win the Selkie one time. But Troy Murray in a Jets uni. Oh, that. Yeah, it was all right. Here's a moment. Paul Gillis of the Quebec Nordiques. Decent defenseman. Oh, he's a center. Another one. Dave Christian. Damn it. I got 3 Dave Christians. But here's another Bowman. Mark Jansen. They keep giving me the same Bowmans. Darren Hatcher. This was a prospect card from ProSet 92. U.S. national player. He's only 19 years old. Wearing number 28. That's funny. But Darren Hatcher would be a Dallas superstar for years to come. Oh, here's another in the game card. Harry Howell of the Harry Howell from Hamilton. Yeah, from New York Rangers when he played 1,100 games for the New York Rangers. He was an icon. Number 3. I was surprised he actually played for other teams other than the New York Rangers. But yeah, Harry Howell won the 1967 Norris Trophy. He actually said that he's lucky he's won the Norris Trophy because this Bobby Orr kid's going to win it for the next few years. Little did we know that Orr would win it for 8 straight years, the Norris. Next is a Be a Player card from in the game. Chris Drury, when he was just a fresh face early in his career with the Colorado Avalanche, and he was very decent and all that. He scored a lot of game-winning goals in the playoffs. I was going to think he was the hero in 2001 in Game 7 against the Devils, but that's the other Primo guy, Tanguay. A USA card of Scott Young. This was for the 92. He played for the 92 U.S. Olympic team. I didn't know that. So Scott Young played for the U.S. Olympic team in 92. Interesting. Thomas Hurdle. You know, as a rookie in 2014, scoring that between the legs goal to knock down and kill off Martin Biron's career. You know, that was when he had a 4-goal game, and Hurdle was pretty good. 35 goals in the playoff. I mean, in 2018-19 with this card out. Next is Sean Antosky. They say a top prospect. He was just a goon, I think, in my mind. Colin Patterson of the Calgary Flames. He had a lot of knee injuries and all that for him. All that. Thank you. Yeah, he was a Calgary player. He was part of the 89 Flames that won Stanley Cup. Yuri Littell of the Flyers. Decent guy, I guess. And finally, Philip Forsberg of the Nashville Predators. I know he was born in Sweden, but he's not Peter's kid, I don't think. But Philip Forsberg, this card from 2015 when he broke out and scored 26 goals. And all that. So yeah, Philip Forsberg. Next up, 2 more to go. All right, just a few more. Just a few more to go. All right, so next is deck 15. All right, first up is Miro Heiskanen. I know he scored a couple of key goals for the Dallas Stars in their run to the 2020 Stanley Cup Finals, but Yeah, this was his rookie card from 2019 when he got 33 points. I think he's a good player. I think he's going to be a star. Well, he plays for the Stars. Ha! Next is Tony Granado. Oh, here's a Tony Granado card with the Sharks in the twilight of his career. His gritty play. I think he came back from a major knee injury with the Kings and all that. But yeah, with the Sharks, he was okay. He was okay, I think. And all that with the Sharks. So yeah. Mick Fukuda of the Cupcakes. 290 penalty minutes this year. Next is Luke Robitaille in a Rangers outfit. Surprise, surprise. Yeah, the Penguins traded him to the Rangers for the 95-96 season. I don't know how many years he played for the Rangers. I think 2 before he went back to Los Angeles, and then he kept his LA star alive. But yeah, Luke Robitaille is a Ranger. Next is Bowman. How many will I get? Marty Shelona as a rookie. He was part of the kid line with Joe Murphy and Adam Graves that basically were these young players that basically helped the 1990 Oilers in a way win the Stanley Cup. So yeah, Marty Shelona. Leaf fans will spit on his card. I'm not going to, but because of that 2002 Game 6 goal that sunk the Leafs in the conference finals. But Shelona actually surprisingly scored game-winning goals in 3 of the 4 series for the Flames in the 2004 playoffs. He scored the overtime goal that sunk the Canucks in the first round. He scored the overtime goal that sunk the Red Wings in the second round. He scored the game-winning goal against the Sharks in the conference finals. And he could have had a 4th if that phantom goal counted in Game 6 of the 2004 Stanley Cup Finals. Brian Prop, okay. And, they only gave me 2. Here's a Ray Bourque card. Ray Bourque of the 92 scorecard. 92 score, Ray Bourque. Okay, this was 92 when he was the 3rd defenseman in NHL history to hit 1,000 points and all that. Yeah, Ray Bourque was an icon for Boston. I'm surprised that he wanted to be traded to a contender. I thought he would have been a Boston lifer. But yeah, his numbers retired with the Bruins. Surprisingly. And here's something that some fans don't realize. Ray Bourque wore number 7 for most of his career. But when Phil Esposito was getting his number retired, all that, it was that understanding that once Bourque finished his career, 7 would be officially sent to the Raptors for good. But Bourque said no way, and he decided to switch to 77, and that was an iconic number in itself. Oh, here's another. Here's a Parkhurst card from 2007, like legend card. Cesar Maneco. He was fantastic for Minnesota in the 1960s. He actually played for I think he was a Leafs prospect in the 1960s. He was. And then he went to the North Stars and basically helped the North Stars out in their expansion years. And then when Worsley got dealt from Montreal to Minnesota, it was part of a good platoon system. Next is, speaking of Alex Kovalev, here's his card with the Habs. So I guess he didn't play that many years for the Rangers. Well, it's a 2003 card. But then, 2003-04, he went from the Rangers to the Habs. So basically, he spent not even a full season with the Rangers after being traded from the Penguins in 2003. So this was 2008 when he scored 84 points. This is when he was basically still at his peak. Here's Bob Carpenter. I talked about Bob Carpenter because he had that nasty injury in 91 with the Bruins. And everyone thought his career would be over. But he scored 25 goals in his comeback year in 92. This is the 92-93 Capitals card. And then he got traded to Washington. No, he signed as a free agent with Washington, back with Washington. I think he retired at Washington Capitol. But yeah, he was basically a hotshot player for the Capitals, who was basically the best U.S. prospect up to that date in the 1980s. And then basically he just pissed off management too much, I guess. Ravil Yakubov. This is a Dynamo Moscow card. Ravil Nabokov. Yakubov. Okay. Ryan Johansson with the Predators. He was a Columbus Star, but then he got traded to Nashville, and he's helping the Nashville Predators out. Tom Barrasso. This is a Platinum Performer card, so basically no starts on the back. Mike Eagles of the Winnipeg Jets. I think he was native, wasn't he, Mike Eagles? I think he played for the Did he play for the 1982? Yeah, he played for the 82 Kitchener Rangers. I forgot about that. Mike Eagles. Yeah, that was him. Yeah, he played for the 82 Magnum Cup champ Rangers. And Roman Yossi of the Nashville Predators when he was a star. I just got one more to go, guys. Don't tip that card pile. Yeah. I usually don't throw away a lot of cards and all that. All right, so last 15 cards. Here we go. John Gibson, Kitchener. Yeah, 2019 card, 26 wins. Basically, he's become the best goalie to ever come out of the Kitchener Rangers system. It used to be Steve Mason, and then before that it was Don Edwards. But yeah, it's now Johnny Gibson. Next is Jordan Eberle, 2015 Upper Deck card with the Oilers when he was basically good, and then the Oilers cut him loose for no good reason, I guess. Brian Erickson of the Winnipeg Jets. You know, he was known as Butsy and all of that. He played a lot of games overseas, I think. Next is Andre Lomakin. I remember knowing about this guy, but Lomakin, number 23. Basically, the first Soviet to play for the Flyers. But yeah, Lomakin from the Soviet system. Elias Lindholm. I think I have his card. Did I pull his card earlier? Elias Lindholm. This is his 2015 card. I think I pulled his card earlier, but from a different year. Here's a Ranger. Ryan Strome. They gave me 2 Ryan Strome upper decks. Okay. Phil Housley, another Winnipeg Jets. He was a Buffalo superstar, and then he got traded to Winnipeg, and he became a decent player for Winnipeg. I forgot what was his next team after Winnipeg. I think it was St. Louis, but Phil Housley was a great American defenseman. McDonald's checklist and all that. McDonald's checklist. Usually like getting McDonald's cards. Here's another Crown Royal 2004. Jason Blake with the Islanders. He was a decent player and all that with LA and the Islanders. He was good, and then cancer ruined his career while playing for the Leafs. Kelly Kissio. Here we go. San Jose Shark, another former Ranger who played for the 91 Sharks. So he played for the Rangers in the 91 season, and then he was selected in the 91 expansion draft by the North Stars and then traded to San Jose 3 days later. Wow. So yeah, so Kelly Kissio was a star player for the Rangers, but basically injuries ruined him. Well, yeah. Now you'll be thinking, the North Stars in the expansion draft? How? Well, because it's kind of complicated, but the Gunn brothers, Gordon and George, owned the North Stars and actually wanted to move the North Stars to California, to San Jose, because, the Gunns had business in California. The NHL said no. The NHL said, we're going to put an expansion team in San Jose. But then the Gunns were allowed to sell their ownership stakes to Norm Green. Norm Green then turned around and sold. Norm Green became the owner and basically sold the North Stars down the river to Dallas. But basically they were allowed to take over that team, and the Sharks were allowed to take players from the North Stars and all of that. So basically, Kissio went to the North Stars, I think, because the Rangers didn't want to lose him in the expansion draft to the Sharks. But basically, the North Stars got to pick somebody from other franchises, and they picked Kissio from the Rangers unprotected list, and then basically they traded him to San Jose years later. Okay, I think I got that right. Phil Fleury, another Bowman, second one of him. Bob Erie. Okay, that's a Bowman I don't have. Bob Erie. Dave Babbage. I hate those green cards and all that. Dave Babbage for the Canucks. He was a decent player for the 94 Canucks in the Cup run and all that. So basically, he was selected by Minnesota in their part of the expansion draft and then traded to Vancouver. But yeah, so Dave Babbage. It's weird how the 91 North Stars got to the Stanley Cup Finals, and then all of a sudden they had to lose players to the Sharks and to other to the Sharks, part of an expansion draft. Jonathan Huberdeau. Hooby-dooby-doo. Great start for the Panthers for years to come, I hope. And finally, the last card in this thing is Jordan Greenway of the Minnesota Wild. I don't know if he's still playing, but Jordan Greenway. So yeah, so I've thrown out a lot of cards. Throwing a lot of cards aside. So yeah, I'm done. I'm finally freaking done here. An hour of pure excitement to be had, I guess. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully you went through the whole 65-minute thing and heard me spout out some stuff. And expect me to be on Discord with Sports Catastrophe. Anyway, I bid you adieu, and hopefully you're okay.